Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna wait just a few minutes and then I'll go ahead and get started. Hope everybody's good. I don't have my tech guy here, he's at work. So I don't love the lighting, but I'll have to work on that, guys. So while I'm waiting for maybe a few people to pop on, I'm Dana Mott. So I appreciate everybody joining the group. So a little bit about me. I have been an esthetician for over 10 years, but I'm very, very passionate about wellness inside and out, and especially when it comes to like skincare and taking care of your skin. So today's chat is going to be all about skin protection. And I think this is very, very important, especially as we get into, well, actually we're in the summer months and things like that. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of have differing views or ideas when it comes to like skin protection, because we hear so many different things. We know nowadays there's so many different sunscreens and things like that are coming up toxic, and then it's like, oh, but we need vitamin D. So I just wanted to kind of chat a little bit about some of those things. I also got a few people's questions, so I'll address some of those questions as well. Hey guys, see a few more people joining. Yep. So I actually start with the questions. I'll go ahead and get started, and then you can always go back and watch the replay as well. So one of the questions that was mentioned in the group was, do sunscreen stop skin cancer? Okay, so in 2011, the Journal of Clinical Oncology published a randomized clinical study of over 1,600 people showing that regular sunscreen use reduced the incidence of melanoma by 50 to 73%. So if you kind of look at that statistics, that's pretty high. You don't want to be in that other statistic. So yes, it is very, very important to use sunscreens. But when we think about like sunscreens too, there's other ways also that we can protect ourselves from the sun, whether it be hats or sometimes our clothing and things like that as well. So there's many different ways we can protect from the sun, and yes, we do want to use it because of course we don't want to do anything that could even possibly increase the possibility of getting any type of cancer, right? So another question that was mentioned, can you get rid of age spots? So to answer that question, yes, you can get rid of age spots and hyperpigmentation, discoloration. And one thing I do want to just kind of address too, because I feel like sometimes, especially with darker skin, sometimes African Americans might think, oh, well, my skin is darker, so I'm not going to tan, I'm not going to burn or anything like that, so I don't need sunscreen. And I appreciate it. Tashina actually, in her comments, wrote when she was at convention, they did a scan. And in the scan, they saw a lot of sun damage in her T-zone. So just because we might have, more melanin in our skin, it might be darker, we still need to be protected by the sun. It is very, very important to still wear some type of sunscreen and have some type of protection, because you still can be damaged. You might not be as worried as far as when it comes to wrinkles and things like that, but I do know even for myself, hyperpigmentation is a huge thing. I know even in my chin area and some of the other areas, it's huge. And I talk to many other women which have the same exact problem and the same issue. So again, all of this... Okay, 1 minute, baby. Go ahead. My son has joined us. So this can be a really large issue. So again, you do want to have some type of sun protection. The next one or question that was mentioned was sunscreen breakouts. Okay, so I did want to address this one because I am one that breaks out. You say hi? Say hi, guys. I'm one that breaks out from everything, okay? So I can touch my face and I'll get a breakout. Anytime I use any other types of foundations that like did have like toxins and oils and things like that, I break out. Like everything makes me break out. So when we talk about the new mineral sunscreen, the nice thing about that is that it is it's not greasy. It's a non-greasy formula. And a lot of the oils that are actually in that sunscreen are the closest carrier oils that can be towards our natural sebum in our skin. So being that it's not going to be as likely that you're going to get breakouts from it. But I still do feel like you want to try it out. You want to play around with it and see, because everybody's skin is completely different. So what might be okay for me might not be okay for another person. Another thing to keep in mind with the sunscreen is I do believe it has coconut oil in it. So if you have issues or sensitivities with like coconut oil, it might be something that for you in particular might not be. Dayton, can you please sit down? Thank you. Might not work as well. But there are so many options that you do have. Auntie Tashina says hi. So when we talk about dark spots, hyperpigmentation, age spots, and things like that, so what's happening is you need to affect the dermis layer, which is the lowest layer in your skin. And you actually need to change the DNA code that is causing what you're seeing on the surface. So what happens is we're getting signals down in that dermis layer, and it's like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be darker than the rest of the skin, so keep producing cells that are dark just like the ones that were produced before. So when you have something that can actually get that deep into the skin and change that makeup of what it's supposed to do, then you can actually change that pigmentation. And so if we think about even the power behind what we do have things that actually can affect DNA. So that's pretty huge when you think about that. So as far as also another question was, it had to do with sunscreens. As far as sunscreens causing cancer.
Hi guys.
So 75% of sunscreens are toxic. So according to the Environmental Working Group, they published a 2014 guide to safe sunscreens. And so according to them, they reviewed over 2,000 different sunscreens and over 257 brands. They found more than 75% of the sunscreens contained toxic chemicals that can increase risk of cancer and other health issues. They said hi. So if you think about that, that's astounding too. So the majority of the sunscreens on the market, baby, can you please go back downstairs? Thank you. The majority of the sunscreens on the market are toxic. So you do want to be very, very careful. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put something on your skin that you're trying to prevent cancer that causes cancer. But what it is it's some of those toxic ingredients that are in the sunscreen that can, of course, cause cancer that you want to avoid. So again, we're label readers, so we know that we want to make sure that none of those ingredients are in it. Another question that was brought up had to do with the vitamin D deficiency. So if you have a vitamin D deficiency, which honestly majority of people do, I know if you live in the Midwest, more than likely you have a deficiency. So if you have a deficiency, will wearing sunscreen prevent you from getting that vitamin D from the sun? So according to a study done, it said it can slightly lower the absorption of that vitamin D, but it's not enough to make a noticeable difference. So if you are already deficient, wearing the sunscreen is not as powerful as how much vitamin D you actually need in the absorption in your body. So I said the majority of people should take vitamin D supplement anyways. So an Australian study showed that no measurable difference in vitamin D between adults randomly assigned to use sunscreen and those assigned a placebo cream. So they did this study in Australia, and basically what they found, honey, baby, please sit down. What they found is they gave a bunch of people some cream that, oh, this is sunscreen. They didn't know what they were putting on. They had to apply it according to the directions. And what they found is there was no difference when they measured that vitamin D in these people. So again, if you're vitamin D deficient, you need to be supplementing. And honestly, like for my family, my kids, we take vitamin D year round, especially in the colder months anyways. So we talked about, so the new mineral sunscreen, what's nice about it is it's non-greasy, very, very lightweight. The majority is essential oils. So if you use essential oils anyways, you'll like that. So it's not really going to clog pores or anything like that. What else? Oh, also, so another question that was asked is what are some of the best products to use when it comes to sun protection and discoloration and things like that. So, of course, the mineral sunscreen, if you have not gotten that yet and used it, I will say I'm a type of person, though, I give everything a 90-day trial. I don't just believe everything that people tell me or say. So go ahead and do the same, you know. So it just got released at convention in June, but I would give it throughout the whole summer. Test it out, try it out, feel it on your skin, let other people test it out and see how you like it, how it works for you. And then really give results. I also am one of those people, I'll take pictures of my skin and then I'll see if a product is doing what it's supposed to do. Another thing, and another one of my favorites is Sheer Lume. That is a cream that has brightening agents in it that are, again, excellent for some of those different skin issues.
Everybody.
Okay, baby. So some essential oils that I wanted to mention, and one that I have here that I absolutely love for sun protection. And even before the mineral sunscreen came out, I would use this when we were going out in the sun, is myrrh. Can you see that? It's backwards, but myrrh. Absolutely love myrrh. Look up the benefits of myrrh. This is an excellent sun protection oil to use. So what I would do for me and my kids before we were going out is we would take coconut oil, we would mix myrrh, actually we mix carrot seed oil too, and we would lather our whole bodies. We would reapply when needed. So definitely a great essential oil to use for the skin. A few others are frankincense, sandalwood, helichrysum, carrot seed oil, which I mentioned, neroli, one of my favorites. I love neroli. I don't know if you guys have tried neroli. Love neroli. And rose. So those are some other really awesome essential oils to use for the skin. So that was some of the questions that people had. While I'm on, does anybody else have any other questions? Or anything that I mentioned that didn't quite make sense? I don't know why they keep walking over here. We had a whole discussion about them not coming up here. My kids. My babies. Alright guys, so I hope, I guard my rose. I only smell it every now and again. LOL. I understand, Luana, but we're gonna get there because we're gonna be diamonds and we're gonna be like taking rose and throwing it everywhere because rose is amazing. Auntie Tashina says hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Your 20 dropped a rose. Yes, rose is amazing. Diamond rising. All right, guys. So I'm gonna hop on off, guys. So I appreciate everybody. If you have any other questions or comments, please write them in the comments. I'll come back and make sure I answer them. But I hope that helped a little bit when it comes to sun protection. And again, when you kind of write your comments beforehand, then I know what I can kind of talk about. And if there's some subjects that you want to discuss as well, we can do that. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.